Your dog may already know something about you that you've spent years wondering yourself. Not whether you've had a good day, not whether you're successful, not whether you've made every perfect decision. Something quieter than that. Whether the place you've become in their life feels like home. Every single day, your dog answers that question without speaking a single word. Not through dramatic gestures or obvious displays of affection, but through small choices so ordinary that most people never notice them. A glance across the room, a slow breath as they settle beside you, the simple decision to stay close when they could be anywhere else. Most owners spend years asking, "Is my dog happy?" Very few stop to ask the question that matters even more. Does my dog feel completely safe with me? If you've ever left the house wondering whether they felt lonely after the door closed, if you've ever replayed a moment when you lost your patience, if, if you've ever looked into their eyes and quietly hoped they knew how deeply they were loved, then this video is for you. Because beneath those questions is another one that many loving dog owners carry without ever saying out loud. Am I enough for the soul that's trusted me with its whole world? The beautiful part is this. Your dog has probably been answering that question for much longer than you've been asking it. Not with words, with trust, with peace, with the quiet confidence of a heart that has learned it no longer needs to stay on guard. Today, we're going to explore 7 gentle signs that reveal something far deeper than happiness. Together, we'll uncover what science has discovered about these behaviors, what they tell us about the bond you share, and why the smallest moments between you may carry a meaning that reaches beyond instinct alone. And perhaps, by the time we're finished, you'll begin to wonder if some of the quietest gifts God places in our lives are the ones that never speak at all. So before you think about whether your dog is happy, you take a moment to ask yourself a different question. What if they've been trying to tell you every single day that with you, they finally feel safe? What you're about to hear isn't a checklist to measure whether you've been a perfect dog owner. Perfection has never been the language dogs understand. This is something quieter than that. These are 7 answers your dog has been giving you every day, often without realizing they're saying anything at all. We'll explore what modern research has uncovered about canine attachment, how small behaviors reveal deep emotional states, and why the simplest moments inside your home may hold far more meaning than most of us have ever imagined. We'll look at the science that explains these quiet choices, the emotions behind them, and the possibility that some of life's greatest reassurances arrive in forms we almost overlook. Because sometimes the things that heal us don't come through speeches or grand miracles. Sometimes they come through a pair of gentle eyes waiting across the room. If you've loved a dog long enough, you've probably asked questions you never admitted out loud. Did I spend enough time with them today? Do they feel lonely when I'm gone? Did that impatient moment stay with them longer than it stayed with me? When they grow older, will they remember how deeply I love them? And beneath all those questions rests another one that quietly follows so many people who love their dogs with their whole hearts. Am I truly home to them? It's a strange thing about love. The more deeply we care, the easier it becomes to wonder whether we've somehow fallen short. Many people carry that feeling without anyone ever knowing. They buy the better food. They rearrange their schedules. They miss vacations because they don't want to leave their dog behind. They whisper apologies after long work days and hope those apologies somehow make sense to a creature that doesn't speak their language. But perhaps they've been listening to the wrong silence. Because your dog may have answered every one of those questions years ago. Not with words, with choices. Tiny, ordinary choices that happen so naturally, they're easy to dismiss. The problem isn't that dogs hide their feelings. The problem is that they're speaking a language we've forgotten how to notice. So let's begin with the smallest answer they give. One that happens in living rooms, kitchens, quiet mornings, and ordinary evenings almost every single day. Your dog looks at you when nothing is happening. Not because dinner is coming. Not because they're waiting for a walk. Not because they're asking for a toy. Nothing is happening at all. You're reading, folding laundry, watching television, lost in your own thoughts. And then, almost by accident, you notice them. They're simply looking at you. Soft eyes, relaxed body, no urgency, no expectation. Many people instinctively assume their dog must want something. Food, attention, a trip outside. But research from Azabu University in Japan revealed something remarkable. When dogs and their owners share relaxed eye contact, both experience an increase in oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone. It's part of a biological feedback loop that helps strengthen emotional attachment between them. In other words, those quiet moments aren't empty. Something meaningful is happening, even when neither of you moves. Your dog isn't always searching for what you can give. Sometimes they're simply enjoying the comfort of knowing you're still there. There are looks that ask for something, and there are looks that ask for nothing at all. Those are often the ones that matter most. Perhaps that's why these moments feel strangely peaceful. They don't demand a response. They don't ask you to earn another ounce of love. They simply invite you to share the same space for a little while longer. Maybe God designed some conversations to happen without voices, so we could finally understand that real closeness isn't built through constant words. It's built through quiet presence. The next sign is just as easy to miss. You open the front door after a long day. Maybe your dog had been alert only seconds before. Their ears were listening. Their body held a little tension as sounds drifted through the house. Then they recognize you. Almost instantly, everything softens. Their shoulders loosen. Their breathing slows. Their eyes become gentle. It's as though an invisible weight slips off their body. People often notice excitement when they come home. But underneath that excitement is something even more revealing. Animal behavior research has long shown that greeting rituals aren't simply expressions of enthusiasm. They're also reflections of emotional security and attachment. A dog who feels safe doesn't only celebrate your arrival. They relax because your arrival tells their nervous system that the world makes sense again. You didn't just enter the room. You brought safety with you. Home isn't always a place. Sometimes it arrives on two familiar footsteps. Think about that for a moment. What an extraordinary thing it is to become the place where another living heart can finally exhale. And perhaps that's why loving a dog changes people as much as people change dogs. Because every day, without realizing it, they're teaching us what safety truly feels like. The third sign is even quieter. Over time, you begin noticing that your rhythms somehow become shared. You settle into your favorite chair with a book, and within minutes, your dog curls up nearby. You spend a peaceful Sunday morning moving slowly through the house, and they seem content to drift through the day at the very same pace. When your mind finally becomes still, their body often follows. Researchers at the University of Vienna have observed that dogs living in close, trusting relationships with their people often show emotional synchrony. They don't simply react to movement around them. They gradually align aspects of their emotional state with the person they feel safest beside. Scientists sometimes describe this as emotional contagion, a quiet sharing of emotional experience between closely bonded individuals. Most of us assume we're the ones helping our dogs feel calm. Sometimes that's true. But the relationship rarely moves in only one direction. Have you ever noticed how simply resting your hand on your dog's side can slow your own breathing? Or how sitting beside a peacefully sleeping dog somehow makes the worries of the day seem a little less urgent? Perhaps they aren't only learning your heartbeat. Perhaps, in their own gentle way, they're helping yours find its way back to a steadier rhythm. Maybe that's one of the quiet reasons God placed animals beside us. Not only so they would receive our care, but so they could patiently teach us how to slow down, breathe again, and remember that peace is something shared before it's ever explained. The fourth sign often appears when you're outside together. Your dog wanders a little ahead, nose busy collecting stories from the ground that we'll never be able to smell. Every tree, every blade of grass, every passing breeze carries information that belongs entirely to their world. Then, without warning, they turn and look back at you. Many people assume they're asking a simple question. Are you still there? But what if that's only part of the story? Dogs who feel deeply secure don't usually explore less. Research from the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna has shown that a strong attachment often gives dogs greater confidence to investigate their surroundings. They venture farther, recover more quickly from uncertainty, and move through unfamiliar places with a quiet sense of security because they know where their safe base is. That glance over the shoulder isn't always driven by worry. Sometimes it's driven by connection. It's almost as if they're saying, "Did you notice this too?" Not because they need permission, not because they're afraid, but because joy has a way of becoming even richer when it's shared. Think about the people you love most. You don't constantly check that they're beside you because you're anxious. Sometimes you simply want them to experience the same beautiful moment you're experiencing. Perhaps dogs do something very similar. They invite us into their world, one quiet glance at a time. Love, when it becomes mature, doesn't keep someone close by making them afraid to wander. It creates so much safety that both hearts feel free to explore, always knowing where home can be found. Maybe that's one of God's gentlest lessons. Real love doesn't hold on tighter. It becomes the place we can always return to. The fifth sign doesn't happen when your dog is excited. It happens when every reason to stay alert has disappeared. Watch your dog during the deepest moments of rest. Their breathing becomes slow and even. Their body rolls gently onto one side. Sometimes their belly is completely exposed. Their muscles lose every trace of tension. If they're sleeping soundly, they may not even react when a small sound echoes through the house. Most people see a sleeping dog. Something much deeper may be taking place. Scientists who study canine behavior and stress have found that these deeply relaxed postures are associated with activation of the parasympathetic nervous system, the part of the body responsible for rest, recovery, and restoration. Dogs naturally protect themselves when they feel uncertain. They stay partially alert, their muscles ready to respond if necessary. Complete relaxation is different. It isn't simply tiredness. It's trust expressed through the body. Your dog isn't making a conscious decision to perform these behaviors. Their nervous system is quietly revealing what words never could. I don't need to stay ready anymore. Imagine how extraordinary that really is. Every creature carries an instinct to protect itself. Yet your dog is willing to lay that instinct down in your presence. Not because danger has disappeared from the world, because in that moment, you have become more convincing than the danger itself. Trust is the deepest form of rest. Only a heart that believes someone else is keeping watch can truly close its own eyes. Perhaps that's why watching a sleeping dog often fills us with an unexpected peace. Without realizing it, we're witnessing one living soul placing complete confidence in another. The sixth sign isn't about where your dog rests. It's about what they choose. Imagine a quiet afternoon at home. Sunlight spills across the floor beside the window. Their favorite bed is waiting. The couch looks comfortable. Every corner of the house offers another pleasant place to spend the afternoon. And yet, after looking around for only a moment, your dog walks past every one of those options and settles beside your feet. No one asked them to. Nothing forced them. They simply chose you. Research into canine attachment consistently shows that dogs develop clear social preferences for the individuals with whom they share the strongest emotional bonds. While food, routine, and familiarity all matter, attachment is expressed through repeated voluntary proximity. Given choices, dogs often return to the people who make them feel emotionally secure. That's what makes these ordinary moments so beautiful. Your dog isn't beside you because they have nowhere else to go. They're beside you despite having somewhere else to go. Every day, your dog is surrounded by choices. And every day, one of those choices is still you. Real love is rarely announced. It quietly repeats itself until one day we realize it has been there all along. Perhaps that's why the smallest decisions carry the greatest meaning. A few steps across the room, a body settling at your feet. No ceremony, no applause, just another quiet reminder that your presence is still where they most want to be. The final sign is the quietest of them all, and perhaps the most profound. At some point, after watching the room, after listening to distant sounds, after making sure everything feels right. Your dog finally stops paying attention to the world. Their eyes close, their breathing deepens, their body becomes wonderfully still. Outside, nothing has changed. The wind still moves through the trees. Cars still pass. The world remains as unpredictable as it has always been. But your dog has made a decision. For now, they no longer need to watch. Secure attachment research describes the idea of a secure base, someone whose presence allows another individual to relax, recover, and face the world with greater confidence. The parasympathetic nervous system becomes more active as vigilance gives way to rest. It's not simply that your dog falls asleep. It's where their body believes it is safe enough to do so. If you've ever wondered whether you've done enough, whether your mistakes mattered more than your love, whether your dog truly trusts the person you've become, there is a quiet answer that arrives every time they surrender to sleep beside you. They believe someone else is watching now. They believe they don't have to carry the weight of alertness alone. And perhaps, without knowing it, they've already answered the question you've been carrying for years. Yes, you are enough. For a long time, you may have believed you were simply raising a dog. Maybe something far more beautiful has been happening. Perhaps two souls have been patiently healing one another. Your dog never learned your language. They never needed to. They've spoken through peaceful breaths, through lingering glances, through silent companionship, through thousands of ordinary choices that quietly said the same thing over and over again. I feel safe here. I choose to stay. I can finally rest. Those aren't dramatic moments. They're sacred ones. The kind we almost miss because they look so ordinary. Maybe God didn't send dogs to make life easier. Maybe He placed them beside us to gently remind us that even when we question our own worth, love can still recognize it before we do. So before you move on with the rest of your day, take one slow look at your dog. Really look. If one of these quiet signs is happening right now, don't rush past it. Sit beside them for a few minutes. Let the silence be enough. And if you'd like, I'd love to hear your story. Which quiet sign does your dog show you most often? And when was the moment you first realized they had been loving you this way all along?